YouTube has, I guess, decided that I'm not allowed to cover ukulele songs anymore. Songs with my ukulele. So that's good. That's good news to the good news that I've already been having lately. I don't understand. Nothing's been blocked so far, but I tried to live stream and it was really weird because it was like from June 28th is like when it clicked on, and I was like, that's really confusing. I've never done any kind of live stream, but I figured why not? I'm sitting here talking to myself most of the time anyways, so I played some songs, and at one point in time it said something, but I didn't quite catch what it said. But I'm guessing what happened was it didn't like me playing ukulele music, so I guess I'm not supposed to do that anymore. So, how about stories? How about stories? How about a story? My stepdad became my dad when I was 3. He's all I ever knew to be my dad. My biological dad decided to peace out for like 30 years and then come back and get pissed off at me because I wasn't moving at his pace. And that ended with him calling me a cunt. And I'm sorry if that gets fucking deleted too on YouTube, but it's true, and that's my life. And this motherfucker decided that I was a piece of shit because I wouldn't enter his life directly after 30 years. That's a story time, but I'm not gonna go with that story. Let's go with a story from a long time ago. I try not to attribute things to my childhood. I've gone to therapy for this shit, but it doesn't mean that it didn't suck. God. It's hard to pick just one fucking trauma story dump, dude. There's just so many. One that keeps popping up in my head was there was a time my stepdad and my mom used to fight a lot, but again, he was my dad, so it was just my dad and my mom. And they would fight really bad, throwing furniture, yelling at each other, a lot of that stuff. And I never saw it like get physical to where they were hitting each other, but they did throw a lot of shit. They get loud and yell, and it would get really scary. I think that like I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and they had gotten into an argument. At that time, my sister still lived at the house. She moved out of our house when she was maybe 14, 15, to go live with my grandparents because my dad and her did not get along very well. Yeah, he was an asshole. He was an asshole. He scared the shit out of me. He scared the shit out of me. He was a very big guy. Lots of tattoos. He would get physical. He would get physical. Countless occasions. But I guess this is pretty significant because it ties into the time that he died. So my mom and him got into a big argument one time, and I was in the bath, and I heard them yelling, and they were fighting, and they were fighting at that time about if the kids were gonna come with her or if they were gonna stay with him. And he was like, "You're not taking the fucking kids." And she was like, "Yes, I fucking am. Come on." And at this time, I'm in the bathtub. I'm naked in the bathtub, and my sister comes running into the bathroom, and she starts grabbing a bunch of shit. And she's like, "We gotta go, we gotta go." And I'm just like shaking because I'm like, what is happening? And I didn't grab anything. I grabbed a towel, I think, maybe. And she slammed out the front door. My mom slammed out the front door, and you know, me and my sister were scared to death, and I was so scared that I ran out of that house, the back door, and where we lived was a very rural area, so we were covered with farmland everywhere. And I guess my mom had called my grandmother to come and pick us up because she was walking. I guess she left without keys, so we were just walking. I was naked. I walked down that road naked because I was so scared. And it did not occur to me to cover myself up because I was so scared. And my mom had to go, when my grandmother picked us up. I don't remember exactly all the other shit in between that. I do remember walking down the road naked. And we got a hotel room that night. My mom got me and my sister some clothes. I remember she put cheese in a donut, some easy cheese in a donut. It was pretty gross. And we didn't go to school for, I don't know, maybe a week or something. I had been terrified of him the entire time prior to this. I'd been terrified of him. He would get very scary. He was very loud. He was very violent. If you did not do what he said to do, we got hot sauced as kids, and apparently that's child abuse. And I hated it. I did hate it. It sucked really bad. We weren't allowed to have anything to drink after he hot sauced us. But we, at that, man, there's a lot tied into that. But anyways, hot sauce story for a different day. We didn't go to school. We stayed at my aunt's house for a while, and I thought, this is the end of it. This is the end of the craziness. Like, I don't have to be scared anymore. I don't have to deal with that anymore. It's going to be done, and he's going to be gone. And he and my mom, I guess, started talking again, and she asked me and my sister if we would go and talk to him, which she basically kind of just was like, you're gonna have to go talk to him. I didn't want to. She convinced us that no, we weren't gonna stay, that he was just gonna talk to us, and go from there. And we went back to the house. He had, like, him and my brother, because my brother was there at the time, and he's my dad's son, so he's my stepbrother, but my brother was there. I had a habit even back then of having a ton of laundry, and they were cleaning the house, doing my laundry, doing other chores around the house, and he sat on the bed and he was like, I'm sorry for, everything that happened, and I'm going to try to do better. And at this time I was still kind of like, I don't want to deal with you anymore, but it didn't matter at that point. It didn't matter, because my mom went to bed. So I was really mad about that, and I stayed mad about that for a really, really long time. And the violence didn't stop until he ended up on a ventilator. Actually, it was kind of before then, because he got addicted to substances, which caused him to have crazy seizures. And he lost a lot of his memory, which I guess was a good thing for us, because then he couldn't remember to be pissed off about us, something that we did. I don't know, but I tried to call the cops on him a couple times, but he would always take the phone away from me. So that's that story. He wasn't supposed to stay, but he did. I forgive him. I do. I've forgiven him. And my first therapy session, it really hit home. It really hit home how much I loved my parents, and I recognized their flaws, and I wanted to forgive them because they were doing the best that they could. And that's really shitty, and I hope that nobody ever had to experience that either. But it was one of those things that really sucked. So instead of a ukulele time, you get a very sad story time. And I'll have more. So I guess stay tuned if this is the kind of shit you want to hear.